Means what have you acquired? What we're discussing today is your stock you bought 2 years ago. Now markets have discovered it. But now I'm sure you must have done your homework on which is the next big one.
It's not there. There are many of them we are holding already. I think still to be discovered by the markets. I think in the Gunj, markets have grown so much. It has become much more sophisticated than the past. The regulatory things have become much more in place, and we are a very sophisticated capital market system in India. And too many players. No, I won't say too many. There are a very large number of players. It is yet to grow further. So it's not going to be easy to create alpha investing in the well-known large cap companies. Of course, investors can still invest in those companies if you believe in the India story, which I am a great believer. I still believe the India's era is just starting. Our times just started only. India is something like, where China was in 2007, before the global financial crisis. And China took really advantage of those things. Many of those things were in favor of them. Similarly, and they had a very, very superior growth since 2007. Of course, they were growing earlier also. But today, India, now the kind of geopolitical things happening in the last 1-2 years, the Russia-Ukraine war and many other economic development globally, we are lucky. And we are in a sweet spot, Nikunj, as I have been always maintaining. And, the equity investors in India are basically, they are very lucky. Look at the way how most other markets, including the Western markets, are behaving, how they have made, huge erosion in value of the investing community. So India is doing very well, but more excitement to me is about, when I think for next 5 to 10 years, the macros are so much in our favor, and especially the political leadership, it is doing a wonderful job for the long-term sustainable growth for the Indian economy. The financial discipline we are holding today is amazing. So that is, I think Indians should thank the current government for the financial discipline, the way our financial and banking segment, that sector has been strong in the balance sheet and complete cleanup, the required law enactments like IBC. I think we are in a very different kind of India today. Maybe we should come beyond that petty politics and think of the economy, think of the long-term growth and sustainability, the stability, most importantly. So there are all those ingredients in place. And now today, India, it's like India means scale.
Right.
Look at the scale of infrastructure projects and other aspects of the economy. We are making not only just the tallest statues in the world.
Right.
We are also making, perhaps I was reading the tallest railway bridge, the kind of expressways we are making. Everybody knows about it.
And
The
soon
Vande
we'll be
Bharat
and
trains.
soon we'll be making something really small, which is we are also setting up semiconductors. So tall and
Yes.
small, big and beautiful, everything comes here. But if you really have to translate that into a thought, for example, you bought Raymond's, you bought into Tata Communications, you bought into Tata Consumer, you were betting on the Tata turnaround a couple of years ago. What is the next turnaround you're betting on?
Yeah, it was. I remember 2 years ago we were talking about when you asked me about a sector, what are you looking at? I talked about Tata Group because of those sweet spots, and I think there are still companies in Tata Group with a very very big potential, and for sustainable rewarding of investors. Many of them are still there, and Tata Consumer, of course, it has gone really like a 10-bagger and staying steady at that level, consolidating. Now. I feel, see, the pharma is something we recently talked about. It is already moving. Pharma has been beaten down for a while, and sell-off, I think it's all over. And there are very steady, stable pharma companies, I think, which are very attractively priced. And some of them have gone up by recently, maybe 20, 30, 40% after decades of depression. I feel pharma is a sector to look at, but should be very selective. I'm not in a position to talk about individual stocks out there. Now, 2 days ago, we were talking about the Gujarat PSUs. I don't know, you remember we talked about the PSUs and in particular Gujarat PSU. There were indications a year ago, some of the government officials were talking about it. So it's a very, very paradigm shift happening in that culture of managing PSUs. So Gujarat as a state has taken that initiative. You know, this from management of PSUs practically never thought about a shareholder wealth creation. They have been focusing on, perhaps capex, so much cash flow coming in. So how to finish off that money? How to perhaps, because capex have been always, if there are some, little corrupt kind of, what do you call, bureaucracy, it's easy to make money when the capex is done. But whereas if you pay all the dividends, the cash to the investors, they don't make anything because they are not shareholders. So this has been a culture since last many, many decades in India. There is a very big shift happening in this culture. It's very structural. So I would say PSUs, not only the central PSUs, even some of the state PSUs. Gujarat has taken the initiative. That is also as a sector. Some of them are very wealthy. If some slightly differently better managed, these companies could be multi-baggers, some of them.